Hi, it's me again, Kathy Goller, here with video 3 about the online registration system for the Diocesan Youth Convention. In this video, we'll show you how you as group leaders can keep track of your group members' registrations. Since we've moved to a paperless system, we know that you still need a way to keep track of who's registered and follow up with people who haven't registered. So let's take a look at that now. First, let's recap where we've been. Remember that the online registration system is really 2 registration systems and 2 steps. Step 1 is for the group leader to set up their group registration and provide some basics for their group, including the rooming list. Step 2 is for each individual to register for the convention. That's where every chaperone and every parent for every teen who's coming will provide their personal information and sign the necessary permissions and releases. Now remember, these 2 systems are separate. Just because you entered people into your group registration and entered some of their email addresses doesn't mean that they're registered. We needed that information so we could complete the rooming list, but their full registration is really in the individual system. So in order for you to keep track of your people, we're going to give you access to this individual registration system. You'll be what's called a view-only admin in the RegPack system. RegPack is the name of our vendor. Now, as a RegPack view-only admin, you'll be able to see who's registered and, of course, then figure out who hasn't. You'll be able to see who's completed their registration, and you'll be able to see who's not completed it. You'll see who's made payments and for how much, their emergency contact information, their medical info, and their special needs. Now, as a view-only admin, you are able to view any of the information that's submitted by members of your group. This way you can follow up with people who haven't registered yet that you were expecting. Or maybe you see that someone will register in your group that you weren't expecting, and you'll want to follow up with them too. You'll be able to contact parents and chaperones with any questions that you have, and follow up with people about questions about payments. Some things you're not able to do. Most importantly, you're not able to make any edits or changes to any of the information that's provided by parents or families. You can't cancel a participant's registration. Any changes or cancellations to a registration have to be done by that participant themselves, or if in the case of a teenager, by their parents. You can't create or edit any reports in the RegPack system. You'll be able to view reports that have already been created, but you can't create any new ones. And maybe most importantly, you can't break the system. Believe me, I've already tried. As a view-only admin, all you'll be able to do is view information. You won't be able to accidentally delete it or change anything that's really important for the convention. Now, on-site at the convention, you should know that you'll still receive a hard copy of your rooming list and a report of the balance due for your group at check-in. Now, if you're an experienced group leader, you know that in the past we asked you to carry hard copies of the permission forms with you during the weekend, but you won't need to do that now because they're all online. And in the case of an emergency or illness, hard copies of that medical information or those permissions and releases can be printed quickly in case there is any emergency. So let's talk about how to get started. First, as a group leader, you'll want to register your group in the group system. At least get that process started. Next, you'll want to register yourself in the individual system. After you do those 2 steps, wait for an email from Diane Rominsky. Diane will be watching to see when you've completed both of those steps, and when she does, she'll set you up as an admin in the system. And you'll receive an email from her after that happens. It's not an instantaneous email, it's a manual process, but it shouldn't be more than a day or 2 after you've registered in both systems. In the meantime, you'll want to be sure that you have either Safari, Firefox, or Chrome installed as an internet browser on your computer or on your phone or tablet if you plan to use those to access this system. Microsoft's Internet Explorer or Edge cannot be used with the RegPack system for the admin side. So let's take a look quickly at that email that you'll receive from Diane. It'll look something like this. You've been invited to create a RegPack admin account. And you'll see here, it gives some instructions with the link. It'll tell you what'll happen after you click the link, that you'll be prompted to create a password, and that you'll probably receive a security code. Normally, when you log into the admin side of RegPack, you will not automatically get into your account. The system will send you an email with a security code that you need to copy and paste into the system in order to gain access. Let's take a look at what this will look like. when you click to get started, you'll get this system here. You'll see it's a RegPack page, and it'll give you instructions about creating that strong and secure password. The system won't let you enter a password until you have one that really is going to be strong enough. Now, I've already set up my account for our fake group, so I'm going to log in here so you can see what it looks like. You'll see here, this time I didn't get that security code extra step, but that's because I've been in the system a lot today. Many times you'll get that. Don't be alarmed. You just have to copy and paste the code. Here, you're at the RegPack homepage for the admin side. It's what we call the user management page. Here, you'll be able to scroll and see all of the people in your group. And up here, you'll see that there's some basic information about your group. Here's a summary of the organizers and attendees, and you'll see a summary of the balance that's owed for your group. Now, over here where it says organizers and attendees, don't get confused by this. The most relevant number for you is the number of attendees. That's the number of people who are actually registered for the convention. I'll show you why those numbers are different and what the labels mean here down below. Here is the full list of accounts. Now, the account contacts are in gray. That's the person who completed the registration. So in most cases, it'll be the parent of a teen who's coming to the convention. So, for example, Isabella Arcola registered her son Chachi. Now, in the case of an adult like me, the group leader, Al Del Vecchio, I set up my own account, but then I also am a participant. So you'll see my name is here in both places. Someone like Marion Cunningham set up the account, and she registered all 4 of her family members, herself and her husband and her 2 kids. So that's the difference between these account levels. Now, after looking at your basic list of participants, the next thing you're going to want to look at is how complete are each of these registrations. Now, if this view gets too confusing for you with all of these parent accounts, all you need to do is click over here where it says attendees, and that will change the view to give you only your convention attendees. I find this to be a much more helpful view, I would imagine, for a group leader. Now, here we have it sorted by last name. You see that sort box is here. You can sort by a few different things, but I find last name to be most helpful. Now, if we want to see how complete someone's registration is, we're going to look over here at these status bars and these numbers. Now, if you see that someone's status, like Chachi's here, says 6 out of 10, that's pretty good, and I'll show you why. If you click over here on Chachi's account, it's going to open up this box where you're going to be able to see basic information about the account. Info, here, this tab gives you basic information. Emails shows you the emails that have been sent to this account. In this case, this was the payment invoice that was sent to Chachi's mom to confirm his registration. Now, forms is one of the most common things you're going to look at. If you click here on forms, you'll see a list of forms that are required for registration. We're going to come back to that in just a minute. Cart shows you the packages that the person is registered for. Now, in Chachi's case, he's only coming on Friday and Sunday. I know he told me that he has a wrestling tournament on Saturday and he can't come for the whole weekend, so this looks right to me as his group leader. And over here, I can also look at payments. I can click to see any payments that might have been made on this account. Now, in this case, there haven't been any payments because Chachi might have chosen to bill my parish, in which case nothing will show here. And if the person sends a paper check directly to our department, it's going to take a few days before that information gets posted. But any payment information that is available will be posted here. Now let's go back to forms for a few minutes so that you can see what you're able to look at. Everything that is listed here under sub-level are the forms that a person should have filled out online. So you see how each of these is listed and has a green circle? That means that the form is complete. And as I scroll down, you'll see that there are forms here that are marked diocesan use only, and over here you'll see they're labeled as admin only. Those are forms we're using to coordinate registration details on our end. So you don't need to worry about those. So on the surface, 6 out of 6 green circles, Chachi's account looks pretty good. Now, to get out of this view, all I have to do is close this, and I'm back to my attendees list. Let's look at someone whose account is less complete. Oh, let's see. Let's pick on Potsy here. Potsy Weber is only listed as 4 out of 10. So we're going to open up this, and we see in forms that, oh, we have red circles this time. Red circles means that there's incomplete information. So I can actually click on this form to see what might be the problem. I'm going to click on Potsy's emergency contact information, and you see that over here on the left side of my screen pops up a view of that page. Now I'm looking here and I'm scrolling and I don't see anything missing. So that means I want to take a closer look. I'm going to go over here, close out of this side, and now the full emergency contact form shows. And as I scroll down, as long as I keep my cursor over here on the right side of the screen and scroll down, I see the parts of the information that's missing. So this, for me as a group leader, would be an indication I might want to get back in touch with his mom to make sure that that information gets filled in. Now, if I want to go back to Potsy's account, I go to my home page. I click over here, the left screen, the left upper corner for users. I'm going to go back to my attendees. I'm going to find Potsy's account again because I want to take a look. There was something else that was missing. If I look under forms, his youth permission page, permissions and releases didn't seem to be filled in. Now, if I look here and I skim, oh, I can see that right away there's things missing. I bet this form was skipped entirely. So as the group leader, I now know that I need to call or text Potsy's mom and ask her to go back into this account to add the missing information. Now, one last thing about Potsy. When I looked at his account, and if I look in his cart, I see that he's registered for Saturday all day. And if I'm back in that user view with my attendees, even at a glance, I can see that his balance is $75, not $189, which is what it would be if he'd registered for a full weekend package. He was registered for a Saturday all day package. Now, as a group leader, that rings some alarm bells because I thought he was coming all weekend. I mean, I included him in my rooming list in the group registration step. So now I know I better call his mom to find out if this was a mistake or whether there's been a change in his registration. So let's go back here. As we look at this list of attendees, we notice something else that's odd. This one here that's missing a name. We want to find out who that belongs to. So we're going to go to that group view and we're going to scroll and we're going to see the missing name account seems to belong to George Malf. Now, I know that Ralph Malf has a younger sister, but I didn't think she was coming to the convention. So now I'm not sure whether this is supposed to be for Ralph's sister and something changed, or whether this was an accident by George, Ralph's dad. So I'm going to look over here at the forms and I see, oh, nothing's been filled out. That is an indication to me that it might just be a blank accidental ad, and I'm going to get back in touch with George to have him delete that account. Remember, as a view-only admin, I can't delete that account. I can only call it to his attention, or in an emergency, I can contact Diane Rominsky and ask her to make a change from the diocesan end. Now, I will show you one other thing with our attendees. One thing as a group leader you might want to look at is the accounts of your adults. So, in Marion Cunningham's account, if I pull up her account and I look at her cart, we're going to see not only will I be able to see what package she registered for, I can see what hall duty shift she registered for. Now, on the other side, if I look at Howard's account and his cart, I see that he registered for a package, but not for hall duty. So as a group leader, this is something I should watch for, and I'm going to follow up with Howard to make sure that he does go back into the account and sign up for hall duty. Now, in addition to looking at everybody's account individually, you can also look at some of the information in a report format. You'll go up here to the right side where this button is for reports. If I click here, I'll see all of the reports that have been created so far. Now, there's two reports that I want to call to your attention. The first is the registration overview. That's going to pull up this report. Don't worry about this blue box here. You can just click out of that. This gives you a quick overview of whether the person is a youth, an adult, or a junior advisor. It's going to show you what package and what payment and their balance. Now I'll show you that more information pops up if I hover over things. So like again, for Marion Cunningham in that black box, I can see her hall duty sign up right there in a glance, even though it doesn't show right here where my cursor is. Now the next report I want to show you is the Special Needs All report. This report is going to pull up all of the health and medical information. If they're taking any medication, what those medications might be, if they have any dietary needs or any allergies. It's a really handy report for you to just see at a glance if there's any concerns that you should have about your group. Now remember, all of this information is really sensitive health information, so it needs to be protected and you shouldn't share it with others. However, as the group leader who's going to take care of these people for the weekend, you should be able to view it. Just remember, this is really for your eyes only. You can look at this information here on this report, or remember, you can see it by going into their account directly and using the Forms button. You're welcome to look at any of the other reports that are in the system. We'll be filling in the rooming list and things as things go by. Now, one last thing I want to show you, and that's how you log out of the system. Click here down by your name, and you click Log Out. That's really it. Feel free to come back to this video at any time. We want you to be comfortable with the system and get used to using it. So good luck, and call us with any questions.